Labour has suffered a sharp fall in popular support after the clash over refugees and border security. The party is now leading the coalition by 51 to 49% in its narrowest result in more than 6 months. The results, contained in an Ipsos poll conducted for the 9 newspapers, show last week's row over the refugee medical transfer law passed by Parliament has resulted in a shift against Labour. Opposition leader Bill Shorten has seen his net approval fall from -9 to -12 percentage points. The poll found Prime Minister Scott Morrison had a marginal increase in his net approval, from 8 to 9 percentage points. Morrison's message to people smugglers more PM under fire over odd question time tactics. Voters prefer Mr. Morrison over Mr. Shorten as Prime Minister by 48 to 38%, the poll found. The Daily Telegraph has revealed that the Prime Minister has warned people smugglers considering sailing to Australia they will not succeed, arguing his government is the one thing stopping asylum seeker boats. Mr. Morrison has recorded a video message to be translated into 15 languages and aired in 10 countries considered asylum seeker hotspots. Make no mistake, if you attempt to come to Australia illegally by boat, you will not succeed, he says in the 2-minute clip, so do not waste your money or risk your life, or anyone else's life, for nothing. His direct message comes after changes to the medical treatment of asylum seekers were legislated against the federal government's wishes. Doctors have been given a greater say in medical evacuations for asylum seekers on Manus Island and Nauru, and the immigration minister's discretion to refuse transfers to serious criminals has been curtailed. Mr. Morrison has been accused of sending mixed messages and encouraging people smugglers to come to Australia by suggesting the country's borders are now less secure. Scott Morrison's problem is that he says one thing one week and another thing another week. Labour frontbencher Penny Wong told reporters in Adelaide on Sunday, people know a politician who is being authentic and one who is not. But the Prime Minister is continuing to pile pressure on Labour for supporting the medical transfer changes, saying he could drive a truck through the protections they put in place. Our government will be doing everything within our powers, despite what the Labour Party have done to undermine our border protection regime, to ensure these boats don't come, he told reporters in Tasmania. The last week Labour weakened our borders. What I'm doing today is to strengthen them. The legislative changes will only apply to people who are already in offshore detention. Any future boat arrivals will not be affected. However, the Prime Minister has argued this nuance will be ignored by people smugglers trying to entice asylum seekers onto boats. Attorney General Christian Porter said it was also implausible a future Labour government would not extend the medical transfer laws to new arrivals. At the first conceivable opportunity Labour had to soften what have been very tough rules around who comes to Australia, they took it, he told the ABC's Insiders program on Sunday. There is some implausibility about the notion that they wouldn't take that opportunity again if in government for a future cohort. The government is reopening a detention centre on Christmas Island at a cost of $1.4 billion as it braces for an expected flood of medical transfers. Meanwhile, security agencies are conducting security checks on asylum seekers being held offshore. Opening Christmas Island is irrational, indeed, one of very few limited responses that we can take to deal with the influx of hundreds of people, Mr. Porter said.